Hello, everyone. You are live with Johnathan Maness, aka the One Leg Bandit, and we are proud to be the exclusive SDVOSB for medical indicators. And they are going to spend some time with us today and let you know about their outstanding products. Sometimes you got to see things with your own eyes to understand how things work. And we are so proud. We have got these products on the DAPA in record time. They are there for our DOD, for our service members. We are adding them to MSPV at this time. So everything is moving forward in the right direction. But please, if you would, put all your focus here. And I'm going to hand it over to Maurice and to Kelly. Hello, team. You got to unmute yourself. There we go.
There we go. Hey, Johnathan, we're thrilled to have you and your team representing us to the VA and to the government. Having worked with you for a couple of months now, we couldn't ask for a better representative for our products. Again, I'm Maurice Donnelly. I am head of business development and sales, and this is?
I'm Kelly O'Malley. I'm head of the marketing team here at Medical Indicators.
Great.
Yeah.
And today we're going to tell you a little bit about our products. Why they're being chosen by clinicians all over the country and all over the world, and what they can do for you. So if you'd like to read it.
So we're just going to share our screen with you here so you can see a little PowerPoint that we had put together for everyone. Okay.
Oh.
And there we go.
Great. First of all, we are proud to tell you, why isn't it coming out? Great. Medical Indicators is the only manufacturer of disposable thermometers, clinically accurate disposable thermometers in the world. Other people might say they have liquid crystal technology in their products. I know there are some forehead strips that people try to pass off as thermometers, but they're more like gimmicky and toys. Kelly will go into a bit later about how clinically accurate our products are compared to the digital products, infrared products, and other products you see on the market. Our brand names, and you may have heard them, Tempa, which used to be a 3M product, NexTemp, and Ultra, which were designed and developed here at Medical Indicators, and a very interesting product called TraxIt that we'll get into. But the biggest thing about our company is not too many people know who we are. We've been around for 35 years, and we've been providing our American-made thermometers to folks in the US and around the world. The UK National Health Service uses our thermometers exclusively. MD Anderson. Fresenius is a key one. They're one of the largest dialysis companies in the world. If you know anything about dialysis patients, they're deadly afraid of getting an infection. Fresenius uses our product exclusively. They use it when a patient comes in to get their dialysis and after dialysis to make sure that they're not running a temp and they haven't picked up a fever. They love the product too because you dispose of it and the next patient gets a very clean thermometer that hasn't been used yet. So we're not moving thermometers from patient to patient and having to clean them before each one.
Just to touch on that a moment too, we've actually gotten an increase in customers in the chemotherapy and cancer realm as well, because that's another similar concern for people getting infusion treatments. They have to check their temperature prior to going in the morning, and then also for the next 48 hours once they're home. So this is something that has been used both in the facilities, but then also being sent home with the patients to test themselves regularly as well. So.
Another thing that happened in this past year of COVID is we started working with a lot of national and international businesses and corporations. As you know, everyone's trying to go back to school or go back to work. And companies such as Google, Home Depot, NBC Sports, Fox News have picked up our products, and JetBlue as well, for their employees when they come back to work, as well as the interesting thing here is these companies found us. You're probably sitting here going, oh, these are large companies. Why have I never heard of this product before? And again, it's awareness. We've been around for 35 years. If you go, oh, sorry. We've been around for 35 years and we're solely made in America. Our corporate offices, our laboratories, our control, our manufacturing are about 100 feet that way. The benefits of this, we get higher quality products, faster ordering. We're not waiting for imports to come into the country, holding things up. And we're actually very affordable. We're manufactured in a complete controlled, clean environment. We're FDA marked, CE marked, and ASTM marked. We also have unsurpassed accuracy. We've got two different types of technologies, the solid crystal technologies, which were developed by 3M and are now part of our portfolio, and the newer liquid crystal technologies. Both of them deliver the same amount of accuracy and reliability. They're accurate to 0.2 degrees Fahrenheit, which is the highest level of accuracy in any clinical thermometer on the market. We're talking it's better than infrareds, Tempanics, most of the other new and exciting things that people are going to out there, not knowing that there's a very simple, easy thermometer to use that's not only clinically accurate, it's affordable, and it's going to stop the transmission of viruses. Okay. Now, people say, okay, it's disposable, it must be bad for the environment. It's completely different than that. We actually have done studies where we produce 66% less waste than the alternatives. We don't have batteries, so we're not throwing batteries into landfills. There's no toxic or corrosive materials. You don't have to clean the product between each use. With an infrared or a tympanic, you're actually supposed to use alcohol and clean the entire product between each patient and each patient use. Now, if you're like me and you've been to the bank or you've gone to the dentist and they're using an infrared when you come in, last time I went to a dentist, I think I was 92 degrees and they were happy I didn't have a temperature, but they didn't seem to care that I was probably clinically dead at that point. Mm-hmm. If I take Kelly's temperature here, she is at 91.7 degrees. And we did this earlier too. Every time I took her temperature, we came up with a different reading. You have to almost have a ruler and put it out there, the exact distance from the person's forehead or where you're measuring, or it's not going to give you a correct or accurate temperature. Oh, and they're mercury, latex, and glass free in the US. We've been mercury free for a while, not so much in some other countries. We save 70% annually, more than tympanic or digital or infrareds. The thing we didn't put up here is the cost of treating infections. If you remember beginning of COVID, especially up in the New York, New Jersey area, it seemed like COVID was running rampant through long-term care facilities. One patient would get it, another patient would get it, another patient would get it. If they were using disposable thermometers and disposable products, you wouldn't be moving the equipment from room to room to room and patient to patient. We've talked with a lot of materials manufacturers who tell me, frankly, they're not calibrating this equipment and they're not cleaning it between uses, and they're scared to death of infection. Infection control is going to be the new buzzword after we come out of COVID. But it's also a low acquisition cost. Again, we don't have batteries, probe covers, cleaning supplies. None of that is needed with our product. We're a single source of procurement, and basically for the staff, it is a much better item because it protects them as well. Now, with regards to infection control, I mentioned Fresenius earlier. This is a key product for MRSA, norovirus, rotaviruses, and other things that they get in acute care settings, long-term care settings. This will help eliminate the transmission of those viruses. And I was told once in the past that the cost of treating an infection in a hospital runs between $75,000 and $100,000. which is quite substantial. And another reason to talk to people about this product for infection control.
Yeah, and just to touch on that too, that in the Medicare and Medicaid setting, there's a threshold that you have to be under, or you'll get penalized, you'll get fined. And that's a big concern that a lot of our customers have come to us for. They said, our rates are too high, we keep getting fined, we need to get this under control. And our products are really great in preventing that transfer of infections from patient to patient, but also from patient to provider. Because if a nurse takes one patient's temperature and they do have something that's transmissible, they could go and infect the entire wing or the entire floor that they're working with if they themselves catch that infection unknowingly and then transfer it to every other person that they meet. So while it might be a single concern from one patient to another, it's really not. It's really an entire unit or floor that could affect.
Yeah, another thing, when you look at how reimbursement's changing, the products and the procedures that get people back home and on their feet quicker are being reimbursed more down the line. If you get an infection like Kelly just talked about and it spreads through the unit, those folks aren't going home for a while. Mm-hmm. And you're going to be spending a lot more in the treatment of the infection than you would have with the original diagnosis.
Absolutely, yeah. So I want to walk you through our product portfolio. Quickly, we have some packaging here in the front as well, but I put them here on the screen. As Maurice mentioned, we have 4 main product categories, NexTemp and our sister product, NexTemp Ultra, Tempa, which he mentioned we acquired from 3M about 10 or so years ago, and then TraxIt, a very similar product to NexTemp with that liquid crystal technology. But I want to go through each one of these in just a bit more detail for you. So our NexTemp and our NexTemp Ultra is a unique product in the fact that we just launched a consumer line. So you'll see there on the left-hand side of our screen, we call them our promo packs. And we have those kind of more for individual and family use, because as Maurice mentioned, COVID unfortunately opened our customers to individuals, families, businesses, people that we never really had worked with before. And there was a need for more consumer-focused packaging, smaller quantities, things like that. So on the left-hand side of your screen, those are our promo packs. And then on the right-hand side are our boxes of 100. And those are mostly used for businesses and clinical settings. So our NexTemp and our NexTemp Ultra are sister products, as we like to say. So they are basically identical. NexTemp was our original product that we first developed and started producing. I think it was in 1988. And then we developed NexTemp Ultra about 10 or 15 years later. And the difference there is that with the original NexTemp, as soon as you remove the thermometer from the patient's mouth, you have 20 seconds to read and record the temperature before external factors could affect it. Just like external factors affect the infrared, which is probably why my temperature was 91 degrees. If you're sitting in a hot car waiting to go into a doctor's office in the middle of summer and you walk in and they scan you, your temperature could be in the 100s when you're perfectly fine. And conversely, if it's a cooler climate and you're outside in 30-degree weather and you walk inside, maybe you'll get a 91-degree reading. So the environmental factors will affect the reading once it's removed from the patient's mouth. The NexTemp Ultra, the yellow-tipped thermometer there, that has an extended temperature retention time of a full 60 seconds. So otherwise, they're very similar. And the rest of the specs, like Maurice mentioned, they are highly accurate to the 0.2 degrees Fahrenheit or 0.1 degrees Celsius because we are an international distributor and manufacturer. All of our thermometers, non-toxic, latex-free, waterproof, and hypoallergenic. And again, they don't require the use or the purchase of batteries, cords, or probe covers. And even probe covers, I mean, they do a fair amount of work in reducing that, opportunity for infection transfer. But if you ever go to a doctor's office and you walk in and you'll see the box of probe covers are sitting there with the top ripped off, and that's what the reusable thermometer will be inserted to. So the person that was in that room prior to you that is speaking and, their COVID droplets are spreading throughout the air, they could land right there. So you could unknowingly be, transferring that infection from person to person without having any idea. Again, there's no cleaning or calibrating required, which Maurice mentioned. It's really, really helpful for nurses and their staff because they're there to focus on patient care, not cleaning thermometers. They're lightweight and compact, so they're ideal for at-home use or on the go, as well as the clinical setting. They don't need to be stored in a temperature-controlled environment, and they offer a 5-year shelf life from the date of manufacturer. Because we are a global company, we do distribute all over the world. So we have both Fahrenheit and Celsius versions of all of our products. And for NexTemp, we also have a sister product, which we call NexTemp Plus, which is specifically designed for rectal use. And with those packages, you get the thermometer as well as the sheath cover that will be needed. So that will be included in the packaging.
The NexTemp Ultra is so versatile. It's used in our consumer line. These are the promo packs we showed you earlier. A large insurance company actually sent 800,000 12 packs out to all the senior members that prescribe to their insurance company in the state of Michigan. The way they did this is they wanted to make sure, number one, that those patients were getting an accurate temperature so they could call or telehealth line and get the patient in quickly. We also can customize these, and we did that for this insurance company, and at one point even promoted their telehealth line on.
Yeah.
It's also great for families on the go.
Yeah,
right.
I know a lot of people use them in their diaper bags, their suitcases or briefcases. They're great for frequent flyers, people that travel often and they only want to bring one carry-on bag with them. There's no concern about getting batteries through the baggage claim or anything like that. And it's really helpful for that as well because, again, the no temperature stored controlled environment, they can be stored on a checked bag or in the carry-on. So our Tempa thermometers, again, as Maurice mentioned, we acquired from 3M about 10 years ago. They are very similar to the NexTemp and NexTemp Ultra, but the difference here is that we utilize the solid crystal technology versus the liquid crystal. And really, it only brings about 2 major differences. One is the fact that it does need to be stored in a temperature-controlled environment. But aside from transport, most places have that degree threshold under control. I can't imagine most businesses having an internal temperature of 86 degrees. That'd be rather warm, but mainly for transport. And then it also gives us a 2-year shelf life from the date of manufacturer. So those are the only 2 major significant differences, aside from the one major difference in the fact that it offers a permanent retention time. So as soon as the thermometer is removed from the patient's mouth, you don't have to worry about whether you read it 20 seconds or 20 minutes later. That same temperature reading will be permanently locked in. So whereas we get 20 seconds or 60 seconds with NexTemp, with the Tempa you get that permanent temperature retention time. And again, we also have these in Fahrenheit and Celsius, and we also offer Tempa Plus, which again is specifically designed for rectal use. Again, also offering the sheath covers with them. And so this is a slightly different product, but a really innovative one and something we're really excited about. We developed this, I think it was back in the 90s, but it's been so well received by a lot of places that focus on pediatric care as well as senior care. So in essence, it's basically identical to our NexTemp and NexTemp Ultra in the fact that it utilizes that liquid crystal technology. It offers the 5-year shelf life, and it doesn't need to be stored in a temperature-controlled environment. But the really neat thing about this is that it's a wearable axillary thermometer. So it's basically a sticker that has medical-grade adhesive on the back that you would apply under the patient's arm, high in the axilla, which is the underarm. You'll have the patient close their arm for 3 minutes, and then you can have them lift their arm and you can read their temperature right there. Going forward, after that first initial 3 minutes, for the next 48 hours, you can have instantaneous temperature readings. So again, these are really great for children who maybe aren't comfortable with keeping a thermometer in their mouth, or even someone that's ill but able to be moving around. It could be worn through the changing of clothes, through bathing, through sleeping. For that full 48 hours, you can have an instantaneous temperature reading. And similarly, on the opposite end, we found that these are really well received for senior care facilities, long-term care facilities. Again, patients that maybe aren't able to hold a thermometer in their mouth or who sleep for a good portion of the day, and nurses don't want to have to interrupt their sleep and wake them up to check their temperature. So TraxIt's a really great option for those. Another
thing about TraxIt, it's not something we've marketed a lot, but we're marketing more now in the US and with the help of Johnathan and his team as well. This product in South Africa is the top product for pediatrics kids. Think about it. South Africa is a very hot climate. These kids are coming in and out, but the parents and the caregivers can check for 48 hours the temperature of the child without waking that child up or putting that child, basically leaving them at ease.
Yeah, and all of our thermometers, as we mentioned, are able to be used either orally, axillary, or rectal thermometers, and we design them that way because that's the appropriate way to take a temperature, to measure core body temperature. So under the tongue, under the axilla, or in the rectum are the three ways that the FDA, the CDC, basically every healthcare agency recommends temperature monitoring is to measure core body temperature. So as Maurice mentioned earlier, you've seen those forehead strips. There are even similar strips to this that are marketed specifically for children. But again, on the forehead, you're measuring external and environmental factors, not that core body temperature. So this being a wearable axillary thermometer really ensures that you're getting that accurate temperature for your child or your loved one. So I do want to walk through how to use the products. They're very, very similar to ones that you've used before. And we actually have a quick video here of how to use our NexTemp products orally. So I'll play that for you quickly. So again, that's a very quick overview of how to use our product. I'll go into a bit more detail, but it is rather simple and probably something we've all done 100 times by now throughout our lives. You'll open the packaging and you will remove one thermometer. They come in strips of 4. And you'll just fold along the perforation, tear off one thermometer, open from the top. You'll insert into the patient's mouth under the tongue into either side heat pocket. And a question that we do get asked is, does it matter if the dot matrix is facing up or down? And it does not. You'll still have that same highly accurate reading regardless. So you'll place it in the patient's mouth and have them close their mouth and keep it closed for 1 minute, which is standard. And then after that minute, you'll remove the thermometer and check the reading. On the left-hand side of the screen is our Tempa dot thermometers, where the dots will change from tan to this bright blue color. And on the other side, we have green dots that will change to black. And you'll see all you have to do is line up the row and the column to get that 98.6 degree temperature reading. And when you're done, as Maurice mentioned, you throw the thermometer and all of the germs and the risk of transferring those germs away.
The nice thing about our product too, it very rarely is returned to us by customers. But when it is, it's because they didn't follow the instructions and didn't leave it in for a minute. Once we show this video or walk them through that, we never hear about product complaints again.
Yeah. And to use the same thermometer as an oral or axillary thermometer, you would do the same thing, open the packaging, but you would place in the patient's underarm and have them close their arm. Or you would take it out of the packaging, apply the sheath cover and insert into the patient's rectum. The only difference here is that for axillary or rectal temperatures, it's customary to wait 3 minutes versus 60 seconds with an oral temperature. But otherwise, you'll remove the thermometer from the patient's underarm or rectum, throw the sheath cover away, read and record the temperature, and then throw the thermometer away as well. To use TraxIt, very, very similar to taking a standard axillary temperature reading. You'll open the package, you'll peel off one thermometer from its adhesive backing, you'll place high in the axilla under the arm, have the patient close their arm. Again, the first one is the only one that needs to be 3 minutes in length. Afterwards, for a full 48 hours, every future reading will be an instantaneous reading. And again, just to blow it up for you a little bit here, you line up the row and the column, and you'll get that 98.6 degree temperature reading. After the 48 hours or after you feel like you no longer need it, you can remove it from the patient's underarm and discard it as well. And that's basically the 10,000 foot view of our company, our products, and how to use them. So we're going to bring it back to Johnathan.
I'll tell you, everyone that just watched this, I get excited because Maness Veteran Medical is about bringing solutions to the VA and to the DoD. This is a solution, a complete solution that hits a lot of topics right on the head here. So, thank you so much, Kelly and Maurice, for being here and explaining that to everyone. And let's dig a little bit further. We're working now. We've already got it on DAPA, so we're ready for DoD right now. We also can sell directly to the VAs. But what is some of the things that you can see? Where could you see a active duty soldier utilizing your products?
Yeah, really the same way any consumer utilizes our products. As Kelly mentioned earlier, people put them in their diaper bags. They travel with them. You can't really travel with a digital infrared thermometer. Heck, it looks like a gun in your luggage. There's a lot of different places this can be used. I know folks that take them camping and hiking with them. Even if you're going home and you're on leave and you're going to go see your parents or friends, it might be good to take your temperature before you head out. And it's a great thing to introduce to them as well.
They're also really great in first aid kits, disaster relief kits. We've worked with the Red Cross in supplying our thermometers to them for hurricane and other natural disaster relief efforts, either in use at clinics or, again, to hand out to people that come to, their homes have been, blown away, basically, and they need materials, they need supplies, and health supplies are one of the most critical. And so these are highly used or widely used in that regard. And again, active military installations, throw them in your gear bag. They're lightweight, they're compact. I think each of our thermometers weigh less than 0.1 ounce. And I think an infrared is about 1.5 pounds.
And when it comes to weight, our veterans out there, everybody that's ever carried a pack knows that every single ounce matters when you're trying to get your mission accomplished. So that's a big deal right there, being able to have that in the bag and not weighing that much. We're also working together to help the folks out in India. Anybody in India that needs this product, reach out to us. We have a bunch of different channels that we can get it out to you through, but reach out to Maness Veteran Medical, reach out to Medical Indicators. We will work together to get you whatever you need, because we know that there's a lot of places in the world that's facing this crisis right now. Brazil, India, anywhere you are here in the USA, we're here for you. Okay.
Hey, Johnathan,
Yeah.
We were on the phone with U.S. Commercial Services last Friday, and they have 7 people based throughout India, and they are looking for a product like this because basically they were telling us in Indian households, a lot of them will use the cheap digital thermometer, and it's used for everyone in the household. And that's been a practice around a lot of the country. It may, in fact, be one of the genesises for their second wave that they're going through now.
Yeah, people know how contagious this is and how fast it travels, and anything that we can do to mitigate that, this is a big step in mitigating that spread. And I'm so thankful that we got it here for the VAs and for the DODs, for the DOD. Anybody that needs it, I put it up on the screen earlier. But if you need a sample, all you have to do is email me at the One Leg Bandit at Maness Veteran Medical. I will get this directly out, and we'll get you a sample sent out free of charge. Maness Veteran Medical and Medical Indicators will take care of it and get it out to you, because you might need to try it to know how good it is, and we have no problem standing behind our product and sending you some samples.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's go over some other things. We were talking about India. The DoD. We are also working at getting it in the commissaries, and we feel. Kelly's went through this in detail, but the commissaries would be a great place where the DoD members can get this for their families. We want to make this accessible anywhere you're looking for it.
Yeah, absolutely. We found that we launched our consumer line in 2019, and it's really exploded. We're on Amazon selling to individual consumers, and we get really, really great feedback from parents, people who take care of both children and, like we mentioned, elderly members of their family, people on the go, but also just people in their own home that want to really control the infection. Because if one child is sick, and it's going to spread to that second and the third child, and eventually the mother's going to get it too. And it can, wipe out an entire household, and everyone will be down for the count for a few days or even a couple of weeks. And, in this day and age, you can't miss work, you can't miss school. Everything's moving so rapidly. You really need to protect yourselves and get something that really helps you with that infection control issue.
Well, I believe one of the main reasons that the DAPA pushed everything through so quickly, I mean, it was very, very fast. They're working with us is because they know the need for this product. So I'm just so thankful that you chose Maness Veteran Medical. Just so everyone knows, Medical Indicators found Maness, and I'm so glad that they did. They come to us, and we have a great partnership where they're exclusive SDVOSB, and we're gonna do right by them, and we work hard every day to get this product where it needs to be. But you know, we've been going for about 30 minutes, so I just want to throw this back to y'all. Do you have any last words that you would like to share with our viewers, anybody that's watching today? Anything less that you want to say?
Sure. Sometimes the simplest answers to problems are the easiest and the best. I think with infrareds, digital, batteries, everything else, it may not be the way to go, even though they're hyped as the latest and greatest of temperature-taking instruments. They're higher in spread of transmission. They're less accurate. They take up less space in the landfill. It's about awareness of our products, and we tend to find when people find us and find out who we are, they use the product, and it never comes out. It stays in. So we're asking you to give the product a try with Maness, and you'll see what we're talking about.
Yeah, and if I could just kind of circle back to what I think are the two key points, is that we are the only manufacturers of both clinically accurate and disposable thermometers in the world. There are very few that can give that highly accurate reading, but everyone else that can aren't disposable. And there are other disposables, but they give wildly inaccurate readings. So when you want something that can give you both that clinically accurate reading and maximum infection control, that's where our line of products come in. And that's something that we're all really proud of here at Medical Indicators.
Well, I just, again, want to say thank you so much for being here. We're going to spread this message far and wide and get Medical Indicators everywhere it needs to be. So I really appreciate you and hope you have a wonderful day, okay?
Great. Thank you, Johnathan.
So everyone, that's Medical Indicators. And like I said, Maness Veteran Medical is so proud to be part of the cutting edge, getting these top quality products to our veterans, to our DOD service members. That's what I live for. Everybody knows I'm an amputee, but I grind hard every day to make sure that we have the top of the line products. If you're going to spend $1 on something, why not get the best product? That's my main belief and my core belief. And I'm making sure that I fight every day for our veterans and DOD. And you will always have access to these great products through Maness Veteran Medical. You know, some people sell many products to make a buck. I sell few products to make sure that we are getting to the point and bringing the highest quality products that there are out there. So again, thank you very much. I went a little bit long today, but you know, you have to get all the information, and Maness Veteran Medical is here for you. Medical Indicators is here for you, and we look forward to talking to you in the future. Thank you.